Samples from Bennu suggest the asteroid may have been part of a water world. The first analyses of samples from the Bennu asteroid, which were delivered to Earth by the OSIRIS-REx mission, showed high carbon and water content. Now researchers suggest that Bennu was once part of a small, water-covered world. The OSIRIS-REx, origins, spectral interpretation, resource identification. Security Regolith Explorer spacecraft delivered a capsule with samples collected from the potentially hazardous asteroid Bennu to Earth last September. The capsule caused a lot of trouble for NASA experts because it could not be opened. The problem turned out to be 2 of the 35 elements securing the head of the TAGSAM, touch-and-go sample acquisition mechanism, which contained material from the asteroid. These elements simply got stuck. However, there were so many samples that some of them were collected from the outside of the container before the jammed mechanism was resolved, which took engineers several months and required the creation of special tools. Initial tests of the samples indicated high carbon and water content. In further analyses, the scientists found large amounts of magnesium, sodium and phosphorus, which surprised the team analyzing the material because these elements are rarely seen in meteorites. Now scientists analyzing the samples say that in the distant past, Bennu may have been part of a small water world where conditions were favorable for the emergence of life. My working hypothesis is that it was an ancient ocean world, says Dante Lauretta of the University of Arizona, principal investigator of OSIRIS-REx. Bennu was discovered in 1999. Researchers describe it as a Class B carbonaceous asteroid. They estimated its mass at about 85 million tons and its diameter at about 500 meters. According to scientists, it is over 4 billion years old, which means it comes from the times when our solar system was just forming. It is included in the so-called Apollo group, a group of objects orbiting in orbits that cross the Earth's orbit. We currently know 8,316 asteroids belonging to this group. According to calculations, in the years 2169–2199 Bennu will come very close to our planet several times. There is a slim chance that a space rock will hit Earth. Scientists from the University of Arizona received 200 milligrams of samples from the asteroid Bennu. To study them, they used state-of-the-art scientific instruments to see what was hidden in the samples, down to the atomic scale. We have over 1,000 particles larger than half a millimeter, 28 pieces larger than a centimeter, and the largest fragment is 3.5 centimeters, says Lauretta. The sample findings will be presented and described in detail at an upcoming scientific conference to be held next month in the Woodlands, Texas. It is now known that the Bennu material contains large amounts of water locked in clay minerals such as clay. It also contains carbon, nitrogen, sulfur and phosphorus. One of the previous findings is that the tested material looks completely different than that known from meteorites. As Lauretta admits, this material is isotopically different from anything else in our meteorite collection. Most of the meteorites that survived passage through Earth's atmosphere and were recovered were pieces of asteroids. However, determining the space rock they come from is not easy. Previous research found that the samples had a strange, reflective coating. Peeling apart this brittle layer revealed darker material underneath. Chemical analysis of this outer layer showed that it contained magnesium, sodium and phosphates, which Lauretta says is quite strange because these elements are rarely seen in meteorites. But, as the scientist points out, such high concentrations of phosphates were detected in extraterrestrial ocean worlds. For example, Saturn's moon Enceladus contains phosphates, a key building block of life, at levels much higher than those found in Earth's oceans. The asteroid Bennu may be a fragment of an ancient ocean world. This is still highly speculative, but this is the best lead I have right now, Loretta emphasizes. Viagra may lower the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Viagra, a drug commonly used to treat erectile dysfunction, may reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease, according to new research. Scientists found that men who were prescribed Viagra and similar drugs had an 18% lower risk of developing the most common form of dementia, compared to those who did not take medications for erectile dysfunction. The analysis covered over 250,000 men. Viagra may lower the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. After decades of largely fruitless searches for therapies for Alzheimer's disease, researchers have turned their attention to existing drugs to see if any of them could help halt or slow cognitive decline. These analyses revealed an unexpected candidate, a pill for erectile dysfunction. According to recent research conducted by scientists from University College London, sildenafil, better known as Viagra, may be an effective treatment for Alzheimer's disease. The results and description of the research were published in the journal, Neurology. Alzheimer's disease is quickly becoming one of the biggest global health problems. According to estimates, approximately 55 million people around the world currently suffer from it. But researchers emphasize that if no cure is found, there may be over 150 million people affected by it by the middle of the century. Alzheimer's disease affects older people, most often after the age of 65, but it begins much earlier. More and more people are suffering from it, and this is due to the increasing life expectancy. Unfortunately, it has now become the 5th leading cause of death worldwide. This disease is associated with the accumulation of beta amyloid and another protein called tau in the brain. Scientists currently believe that the disease emerges from both genetic and environmental factors, although the exact processes that cause it remain a mystery. Although there is a lack of clarity about the causes of the disease, it is clear that the aging process leads to changes that drive its development. The strategy of searching for promising Alzheimer's disease drugs among existing drugs has already brought some benefits. Last year, a team of University of Kentucky researchers found that a drug approved for multiple sclerosis also stimulates brain cells called microglia to remove toxic proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. However, these studies involved mice. Viagra has previously been of interest to scientists looking for a cure for Alzheimer's disease. Observational studies conducted in 2021 showed that people taking sildenafil, used in addition to treating erectile dysfunction also to treat pulmonary hypertension, suffer from Alzheimer's disease by as much as 69%. Less often than other people. More on this topic in the text. Viagra, a promising candidate for a drug for Alzheimer's disease. Later research did not provide a clear answer. In the new study, scientists analyzed the medical records of nearly 270,000 people, men with erectile dysfunction. They found that men who were prescribed Viagra and similar drugs were 18% less likely to develop the most common form of dementia later in life, compared with men who did not take such drugs. The documentation shows that among men who took the most drugs of this type, the effect was even more visible. The risk of developing Alzheimer's disease in these people was as much as 44% lower. We desperately need therapies that can prevent or delay the development of Alzheimer's disease, says study author Ruth Brower from University College London, adding that further research is needed in the form of clinical trials, rather than analyses of medical records, to understand optimal dosage, treatment duration and whether the protective effect also applies to women. In a new study, researchers analyzed prescriptions given to men in the UK for erectile dysfunction. The analyses covered a total of 269,725 people. The researchers excluded cases in which some form of dementia had already been diagnosed. The men were followed for an average of 5 years and their cases of Alzheimer's disease were carefully recorded. It's important to note that the data the team based their study on does not show whether people filled prescriptions or took medications. They only indicate what drugs men took and how often. Sildenafil is a class of phosphodiesterase type 5, PDE5, inhibitors. PDE5 inhibitors work by relaxing the veins and arteries, allowing blood to flow more freely. Animal studies have shown that this improves blood flow in the brain, which may help protect against Alzheimer's disease. Further work also showed that PDE5 inhibitors increase levels of a compound called cGMP, which may also help protect brain cells. Analyses of records show that people prescribed a PDE5 inhibitor had an 18% lower risk of developing Alzheimer's disease compared to people who did not use the drug. And the risk of developing the most common form of dementia was even lower for people who received more than 20 prescriptions over an average of 5 years. However, when patients were grouped by the drug they were prescribed, only sildenafil was associated with a reduced risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. But not other similar agents also classified as PDE5 inhibitors, such as tadalafil or vardenafil. Another important fact is that no protective effect was seen when researchers excluded patients monitored for less than 3 years. Further research is needed to confirm these findings. Learn more about the potential benefits and mechanisms of these drugs, and look at the optimal dose. A randomized, controlled trial in both men and women is warranted to find out whether these findings also apply to women, Brower says.